All right. Good evening, everybody. Now, I've been watching some couple YouTube channels, and there's talk about why we are seeing big pieces come up on the Titanic sub that was missing. That it should be in 1,000 pieces. Well, they have the nose cone, right? The viewing cone, and they have the back panel of the sub. And that is common when you have an implosion because usually implosion occurs in the middle of the sub or the weakest part of the sub, which would have been, they're saying now, the carbon fiber that they used for the pressure, to keep pressure in the middle of it. They wrapped that with carbon fiber. So that gave way. Now, a lot of people are asking why are we seeing big pieces and not tiny little pieces? Because I believe that it imploded um, at a low depth, right? It probably got down past the depth of what the viewing window uh, or the the pressure of the sub would hold. And once it got past that point, it probably imploded. I think they said at 3,000 feet or something like that, or 2,800 feet, they lost comms. They couldn't talk to the sub. And they figured out that it probably imploded. Now, it imploded at probably a low depth and sank to the bottom, right? So, if it was all the way at the bottom of the depth that they were supposed to be at, where the Titanic lays, and it imploded then, when it was all the way down in that depth, then yeah, there probably would be nothing left of that because the pressures of the ocean would be tremendous. I think there were 17,000 more tons of pressure. So it probably imploded um, at a low depth. And that's why it blew out the back panel and the nose cone. And the middle of it, where the carbon fiber failed, imploded and it crushed itself, right? And I imagine if there was any air left in it as it sank, it crushed even more. And that would explain why you're seeing the full nose cone and the back panel of it. It probably blew out the nose cone and the back panel and it just sucked in. Right? I'm shocked too. But there's only one explanation for that, and that's it probably didn't implode when it was all the way at the bottom of, where it was viewing the Titanic. It probably would have been a lot worse. But I believe the one guy, the filmmaker that's been down there, that once they lost comm and communications with him, that's probably when the implosion happened. And it wasn't very far down, right? They were only at like 28,000 feet or 2,800 feet or something like that. So, yeah, that would explain why there's big pieces coming up because they are designed uh, with titanium. I'm shocked that they use the carbon fiber. Usually, that all that stuff is titanium, steel, to handle the pressures. But what can you do, right? But that would explain why there are bigger chunks. It'll be interesting to see what they can figure out. My guess is it imploded in the middle and it blew out the end caps. blew out the view window, and it blew out the back panel of the sub, which makes sense of an implosion. Um, yeah, that would explain that. But I do believe some of the professionals, when they do say it, would have been worse if they were at full depth, right? If they were all the way down with the Titanic and it imploded, then the pressures would have been a lot greater. And I do believe the recording that we're hearing of that signal, I believe you can hear the implosion, and the other noises could possibly be as it sank, it crushed in more on itself. Right? As it sank down further, if there was anything left, any air trapped in any of the compartments, and anything, it would have just kept crushing it. It explains why the two end caps were blown out, not destroyed. But I don't know. I'm not a scientist, right? I ain't got no PhD in this or anything. But you you in, do research on it. That would explain the bigger pieces. A lot of people are shocked why we see in big pieces. Probably because it wasn't that far down. If it was further down, the pressures would have been 20 times more. Then there's a good chance there wouldn't have been nothing left. But I agree with the one filmmaker guy, Khan, and him and once they lost communications, and then once they lost backup communications, that's when that dude that it imploded. Something seriously major happened. When you lose both communications, when one is designed for backup and it's in its own compartment, and you lose that, and also your regular com, something traumatic has happened, right? All systems down, nothing, dead in the water or an implosion. So, for those that say it didn't happen, it happened. There's the proof. They're bringing up stuff. People are saying they found bodies and everything. I don't know about that, folks. Whatever's left. I imagine the sharks and the fish. My condolences to the families. Not trying to be rude or anything, but if there's pieces of body left, I've already watched a couple of videos. There's body parts and not much. Not much. I imagine whatever was left, fish fed on, and who knows what else, sharks or whatever. In that short of time, in that short of time, we know the bodies would have been in uh, bad shape, right? Them kind of pressures uh, crush you, just blood curdling, crushing. Ugh. But we'll see what's left. And hey, if they can figure it out, I know a lot of people. I was watching Shogun earlier. He's asking questions. Are they going to put the thing back together to find out? Oh, you bet. You bet they'll put every piece back that they got. And they'll find out what happened and what failed and what the weakest spot of that sub was. And let it be a lesson to you new uh, explorers out there. Don't ever try to go to them depths without certification and uh, tested titanium steel to handle them kind of pressures. I know people think it's a joke, but you'll crumple up like a tin can at certain depths in the ocean. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the sub, if they can put it back together and explain exactly what happened. This is what failed, and this is why it failed. Right? It was 3 layers short of carbon fiber. Right? If he cut corners and there was supposed to be 11 layers of carbon fiber, and he wanted to cut corners and only put 3 layers of carbon fiber on it. Right there, cutting corners. He's cutting corners, just not making the whole thing out of steel, right? High dense steel. I'm shocked it wasn't even certified. It wasn't even, there's channels you got to go through. I don't even think National Guard, I don't even think Navy or anything okayed on it, signed off on it, saying it was certified deep diving submergible sub. So, sheesh, I don't know. But hey, they all signed waivers. And it's stated right in the waivers. They're not liable for anything. You could lose your life. You sign on this dotted line. We're not liable for nothing or the company. So that's going to be interesting to see in court. But I think it was shallow depth implosion. That's why you got panels blown out and not crumpled up into tiny little pieces. Right? I don't know. You folks have a great night. I got the camera pointing outside into space right now, just looking out the window at this space. Hey, Tahoe, how's the BMW running? You change them turbos yet? You put the 820 turbos on them yet? Have fun with it. But I got things to do. I'm busy right now, Tahoe. All right, folks, there's my explanation on the Titanic sub. That would explain the giant pieces they're pulling up. I'm interested to see if they find any of the carbon fiber or the middle of the sub. Right? That'll be interesting to see how much of that they find. Probably not much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Be safe, and check out all these great channels on the YouTube. Right, all kinds of stuff about the sub and all these murder cases and all these people. All right, it's getting late. You folks have a great night. Love, peace, harmony. Keep looking up at the stars. Be safe. We got rain coming tomorrow night. Storms. Be safe.